Hi everyone, just wanted to go over a few things from last week. I will not do a lecture on this. I will try and do one tomorrow evening. I'll try and record something for you. You probably saw in the announcement, we're in the process of moving. We're actually moving to Florida. So right now we're in Virginia trying to head off the hurricane and hopefully get the other side of it tomorrow and get the rest of the way to Florida. So I will hopefully be able to get in and get that recorded for you tomorrow night. But I did want to go over quiz stuff and whatnot for this week. So last week, week 5, we talked about autonomy, justice, beneficence, non-malfeasance, the types of things that we usually think about as traditional healthcare ethical issues. But as we've already explored in the first 4 weeks, there's a much wider swath of ethics that we need to deal with in healthcare administration. So, but hopefully you found this week's discussion and work interesting. It's certainly a challenging topic, and it's just to give you some things to think about. So that was that last week. Let's hop over to this week. So this week is actually the topic is general, so we're supposed to examine ethicals and societal and population health. And for this particular class, this will probably change each time the class is offered, but I thought it was appropriate to look at the ethics related to preparation for epidemics and pandemics, disaster and emergency preparedness, and then also health inequality and inequity. So those 3 things kind of went together pretty well. So that is our discussion or our work for this week. As I say here in this, I had an issue with the scanning on the textbook. So I have posted what was scanned, and I also posted the ebook version of that. But I will be back in Pittsburgh on Friday, and I will look to get down to the office and rescan that for you. So obviously you can try and read what's here, or if you want to wait until then, that's fine. I can give you some additional time for your quiz if need be. Then we have the Ed Puzzle discussion, a reflection assignment, and just kind of looking a little bit at inequity, lack of access, those types of things, inequality in healthcare. So that's our reflection, and then our quiz, which is based on, just like past quizzes, based on the reading. So that is that. So let's hop over to take a look at these quiz questions. So first question, if assistance in suicide becomes more socially acceptable, and then there were multiple answers. So the correct answer was health service organizations will have to address the ethical issues it raises. If folks chose a different answer, it was usually B or C. And health service organizations should be addressing end-of-life care in their mission anyway, or at least as part of their organizational strategy. But it's not necessarily connected with assisted suicide. And in some cases, like I think we discussed last week a little bit, or maybe it was in the lecture that I did, but in some instances, like for example, Dr. Kevorkian's cases, the vast majority of those patients were not at end of life. They were at a point where they knew that things were going to become much more difficult for them, but they weren't at end of life. So it's not assisted suicide and end-of-life care are not inextricably linked. Although I do agree that health service organizations should be addressing end-of-life care, I don't think it's going to be tied to the social acceptance of assistance at suicide, nor to the textbook. So that hence the answer. Next question, living wills. And then obviously we have a bunch of statements here. So living wills do allow people to specify what can be done to and for them. And remember, the purpose of the living will is not They're typically not binding documents. There are some states that call their advance directive a living will, but generally they are not binding documents, but they allow a person to specify what they want their healthcare proxy to do for them. And then C is also correct. Make it possible for people who can't communicate with their caregivers to express their wishes about the extent of treatment. So the correct answer was A and C. Living wills are not the legal mechanism by which a deceased person disposes of their personal property. That's a last will and testament. So if, I think there were some folks that chose the last answer, all of the answers listed. So that's what makes that incorrect there. But so a living will is about what's going to go on during your life, as opposed to a last will and testament, which is how your estate would be settled. So our correct answer there was A and C. Next one, I think this is the last one. The concept of blank permits physicians to withhold information from patients when the physician believes it serves the patient's best interests. And I talked about this in the lecture. That is known as therapeutic privilege. So typically, a physician should be providing all information to a patient, pros and cons of services, treatments, surgical procedures, those types of things. But there may be some instances where the physician, for whatever reason, maybe based on the patient's condition, based on a personal situation going on with that patient, the physician feels that it's in the patient's best interest to withhold a certain amount of information, and that is known as therapeutic privilege. And there is some ethical concern with that, because we do have autonomy as patients. So we have the ability to make our own decisions based on the information that we have, and if we're not being given all the information, that can pose problematic. But this concept also does exist, therapeutic privilege, which allows physicians to withhold a certain amount of information from us. So that's it. If you have any additional questions on any of our work for this week, or on content for this week, or content from last week, other quiz questions, etc., please reach out. I'm doing my best to stay on top of emails and whatnot. It shouldn't be an issue tomorrow. We have a very long driving day, so I might not be as responsive, but I will certainly get to you later in the afternoon, evening. And then I do apologize. I am delayed in getting your work back from last week. So I will hopefully be able to get through those this week as well, and get that stuff over to you. So like I said, any questions, please let me know. Thanks so much.